Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope everyone's doing wonderful out there. Welcome back to another show. As you guys can see, today we're just hanging out on the beach talking about early retirement, how you can get to that point of early retirement. Doesn't matter what your age is, you can get there sooner than you think. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be, again, just chilling out today with a different kind of vibe. It's summer. We out here hanging out. Please let me know if the music's still loud or not loud enough. If you can hear me, not hear me, all that good stuff. We're just going to be chilling out today and talking and taking your questions, okay? So please, if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. If for whatever reason I don't see your question and you still want me to answer it, feel free to ask it again and ask it again. I give you permission to spam the chat until I find until I see your question, and we go from there. Okay? Because in today's video, there's not much to. Well, okay. In most of my live streams, I have a set topic that I like to talk about, and we go ham. We just go wild, and I just talk to you about XYZ. In today's episode, obviously, is no different, but I know you're probably gonna have a lot of questions regarding this and how you can do this, because it's pretty, kind of wide open. The whole idea of, retiring early, for example. Let me see if I can, hold on, get some better views. All right, there you go. Let me know what you prefer. You prefer to have the beach? You prefer to see some sights and sounds of Mexico in the background, all right? So anyways, I have retired early. In fact, I retired early way before I ever moved to Mexico. The whole idea of retiring early, that whole life, the whole idea of retirement, was something that I was very well aware of when I was very young. And the whole idea of like doing something you love, living your life to the fullest, or living life as best as you can possibly live it, is something that I learned, again, very young. And I'll get into that. And like I said, we'll be piggybacking, off of my story, off of your questions and things like that. So, very early on, when I was growing up in Miami, Florida, down in Miami, it's pretty unique in the sense, kind of like out here in Merida, where it's a tropical vibe, just like you're seeing right there. And there's a lot of young people that live there, and there's a lot of older people that live there. Now, I learned a lot, from my younger, friends, cousins, all kinds of people, obviously, that I knew that were either my age or whatever. And I learned from their mistakes. Sometimes I didn't learn from the mistakes. Sometimes I committed my own mistakes, but I still learned from some of those mistakes. But what I learned the most from were older people, the older generation, older family members. Again, being in Florida, retirement haven, the reality is that, well, obviously, there's a lot of older people there. And, if you strike up any conversations with them, talk to them, and start asking them questions about their life. Remember, they're at the end of their life, so it's, pretty good barometer, right, to ask them, and, gauge from them, what they would have done differently, what mistakes that they made that they wish they hadn't made, what mistakes were good mistakes. Again, if they could change everything and do things differently, what would they do? And all these, obvious questions that you probably would be asking somebody of that age, and learn from that. So, I learned very early on that one thing that a lot of older people have, doesn't matter what their income, financial status is, doesn't matter, their background, doesn't matter a lot of things. One of the main things that a lot of older people had, one of the main, things that they wish they could have done differently, was the fact that they didn't live life. A lot of them, again, there's that saying that says everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And so, for a lot of people out there, unfortunately, they were fed that lie of you have to, work a certain amount of hours every single day for a certain amount of years, cash in that retirement and all that stuff. Basically it's, once you get to like 18 years old, you got to work all the way until you're 65, and then you can retire, and then you can enjoy your life. And so a lot of people, they regretted that. They regretted that they were fed that lie, but that they believed it and they lived that life. Because at the end of their journey, when they're 60s, basically the one thing that most of them always said was the fact that, money isn't everything. Material possessions, only buy temporary happiness, and that they wish they would have lived their life more. They wish they would have, enjoyed their life more. They wish they would have done, other things with their life except work, in order to get a bigger house, to get a nicer car, to get bull crap, just to get stuff. Because basically that's what it is. Because once they get to a certain age, they realize all that stuff, that not only did it not bring them happiness, but, again, it just deterred them, from, the actual goal of living their life. And so the reality is that, right from a very young age, I was already educated on the fact that, okay, I got to do something I love. I'm not going to be doing something just for the money, because money is only temporary, buys temporary happiness, and it's not necessarily, the most important thing. Now, again, I'm not saying that money isn't important. Money is very important. Money facilitates fun, facilitates a lot of things. Money is, obviously, if you got money, it's great. Yeah, it helps, you live your life a lot, easier. But the reality is that if that is your end goal, you're going to be sorely disappointed at the end of the journey, because again, it's not all about the money. It's all about living your life and experiencing your life and all this other stuff. So, all right, I see a few questions coming in. So we're going to be doing that. We're just going to be jumping back and forth, from story time to answering questions and so on and so forth. All right. So, because I know you guys are always asking me questions, but I'm going to take advantage of today. Seems like most people are on vacation during this summer, which is good. You're out there living your life. There's not that many people in the live stream, in the chat today. So let's just take advantage of that. So my fairy treasure says, if you have temporary visa, how long can you have a U.S. tag on your car before switching to Mexico plates? You can have your American or Canadian foreign plated car in Mexico as long as you are on your temporary visa. That's it. So if you're on your temporary visa 4 years, you can have it on for 4 years. The thing is that once you get to permanent residency, that's when you cannot have a foreign plated car, okay, legally. All right, so that's basically how it works, okay? So if you are on your tourist visa, your FMM, if you are on temporary residency, whatever it is, you can have it for 4, 5, 6 years, whatever, up until the point you get permanent residency. Once you get permanent residency, that's when you got to make the switch. In fact, you got to make the switch before that. And why is that? Well, because when you are on your temporary residency or your tourist visa, you can get a temporary you can get a tip for your car, which is a temporary import permit for your car. And that is like a temporary residency, a temporary visa for your car. But once you get permanent residency, they don't grant those anymore. So, and then on top of that, there's other laws and, legalities that basically prohibit you from having a foreign plated car in Mexico. Again, once you get past permanent residency, okay? But if you are in your temporary residency, it doesn't matter how long you have it. While you have it, you can have your foreign plated car. All right. So let me see, any more questions? Mexico Buzz Travel says, I see so many people that have a heart attack and die 2 months after they move to their tropical paradise. It's so sad. If only they could have done it earlier. Yeah, so not just move to a tropical paradise, but how many people we know of or have heard of that basically once they retire, that's when they die a little bit after that. That's why you see a lot of older people, they just keep working. For example, someone that owns a pizza shop, okay? And they've been working that pizza shop their whole life, all right? And then they're at retirement age and they don't want to retire. They still go and make pizzas. Sure, they might be 90 years old and they're making the slowest pizza on the planet, but every single day that they're doing that, not only are they living their dream, enjoying their life, they are living in their retirement. This is what we're going to be talking about. But the minute that they do actually retire, that's when they die, because what are they going to do? Just sit around all day and do nothing? So that's a major component to all that, so the reality is that, if you're doing something you love, you're going to be doing that till the day you die. So as I was saying earlier, when I was in high school and I was about to graduate high school, look, I was in the top 15% of my class, or probably higher. I don't even remember. I don't even care, but I was a smart kid. Okay. And I had, scholarships, okay, to go to various universities in the state of Florida, and to go study medicine, study law, study these things. I didn't really want to study medicine. That's a whole other story there. But something that really interested me was law, politics, all this other stuff. But again, as I got older, before I actually went to university, I realized, maybe that's not what I want to do. That's not the life I want to lead. That's not the things that I want to, kind of be, I don't know. I just don't want to lead that life. So I strayed away from that throughout my whole, high school career. Again, since I was a young kid, my family had a restaurant. And then my other side of the family, they did photography and videography and things like that. So, to me, I was already exposed to that kind of stuff, those worlds at a very young age. And I was like thinking to myself, well, I got family, friends, whatever, that I know, basically family or friends from, my family, my family's friends. Obviously, I at fucking 18 years old, didn't know any lawyers or anything like that. But my family did. And, just through that whole structure, obviously I get to know these people. But what I'm saying is that I got to see all these people that were very successful, had a lot of money, had a lot of power, had a lot of everything, and also saw how miserable they were. And then I got to see other family members or other friends of my family that were, just basic, normal human beings. Like I said, they would be photographers, but they would be their own boss and they had their own business. Okay. Or like I said, my own immediate family, we had a restaurant. Or I knew, again, one of my dad's best friends, he was an electrician, but he worked for himself. He had his own business and things like, and I saw how happy they were. And I saw how much life they actually got to live. And from a very young age, I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, they don't seem to have that much money, because again, I didn't really understand the whole concept of, riches and money and all this other stuff. But I knew enough. That, obviously, some of these family members that were just doing what they loved, they didn't make that much money. But they loved life, Like, again, every weekend, we would all go to the beach and have these big family beach parties, or my dad's friends, would come over and hang out. They weren't drinking or doing drugs or anything. No, they were just hanging out, doing dumb stuff, That, again, now at age 43, I was like, oh, okay, the same things that I do with my friends right now. But just hanging out and just living life and enjoying life and laughing and having fun, and let's go to the, to Tony's ranch, and let's go to Juanito's whatever, and let's go, this guy's thing, and they were just living their life. And so I got to see that, and then I got to see the other ones that, they were rich, they had mansions. A lot of these people were, again, family or close to the family, so we get invited to these parties, we get invited to these things, and so you get to see these other people that had everything. They had the big mansion, the properties, the everything, but then they were miserable. And when they would hang out with my dad's friends, or my dad, or my other family members that were actually having fun, you get to see the disconnect immediately. You get to immediately see the disconnect. Again, one group of people were having and living their life, and the other group of people that had money and power and all this stuff, they were more worried about how much more money they're going to make. They were more worried about, what their friends were going to think, their kids in the private school, all this crap that at the end of the day was not important, and it didn't really matter. And so, by the time, it was time for me to go to college, go to university or whatever, like I said, I had scholarships, I had all that stuff, but I was like, this might not you know, I don't think I want to do this. I don't want to go and be in. First of all, I hated school. I hated school. I lived my life more like Ferris Bueller did. All right. But anyways, I hated school, but I still was able to get really good grades because I loved to learn. I loved to read. I loved to study. I loved educate. I loved all that stuff. I just hated school. I hated that structure. That felt like prison to me, which again, you know, fast forward to today, I wasn't too far off. I wasn't wrong about that, as we all know. But I kind of already had that feeling, man, this feels like prison. Why would I want to go to university for a 4-year minimum, probably a lot longer? Again, if I'm going to be a lawyer or whatever it is, you know, it's going to take a lot longer than 4 years. Why am I going to go through all that just so that I can, again, you know, work like 80 hours a week doing things that I probably don't want to do? And just for money. You know, again, I already knew that money wasn't going to buy you happiness. So I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, during all that time, I was working in the restaurant business. I was doing all this other stuff. So for me, I already knew, oh, well, wait a minute. You know, I'm having a lot of fun working in the restaurants. I'm having a lot of fun in this environment. I'm having a lot of fun doing this kind of stuff. So let me just keep pursuing this. And I did. And sure, it didn't bring me any money. For anyone that's worked in that industry, you know, you're not really going to be making that much money. But man, are you going to have fun? Are you going to have memories forever? You know, again, it's a different world, a different lifestyle. And so to me, eventually, you know, I started going to university and I started trying to study different things. All right, let me study computers since I love computers. Let me do software. Let me do hardware. That wasn't my thing. You know, I started doing like a bunch of things. You know, I even eventually said, and I bit the bullet, and I said, you know what, maybe I can, you know, just start my path, and maybe I guess I have to be a lawyer. But anyways, long story short, I quickly realized, you know, this is not what I want to do. This is not fun. This sucks. This is terrible. I can't imagine doing this for the rest of my life, or at least, you know, again, another 40 years, 50 years. While at the same time, I was like, you know what? I can definitely see myself, you know, working in a kitchen for years to come. All right. It was always a different adventure. It was always, you know, something. It was always something that kept you laughing, entertained. You never knew what to expect on a daily basis. So eventually I just gravitated towards that and I just did that. And again, you know, as the years went on and I was already a cook, a chef, whatever, I quickly realized, man, I'm never going to make any money doing this. But by that time, I already had friends, you know, that I graduated from, that I grew up with, that actually did get their degrees, that actually did make money, that actually did all this stuff. And I got to see exactly what I was predicting when I was younger, which is they were miserable. Sure, they had money. Sure, they had all these fancy things that they've always wanted, but they were miserable. And they would come to me, you know, for fun. You know, meaning, you know, they would always be kind of like applauding the fact that, like, man, this is so cool that you are a chef. Man, you know, I was like a celebrity. I was like a rock star. Everybody wanted to be me, but they didn't have the cojones to do what I did to live life because, again, they wanted comfort, they wanted money, they wanted status, they wanted all this other stuff, but they actually wanted my life, all right? And so for me, it's like, yeah, sure, of course I wanted money. Who doesn't? But at the end of the day, I had the status, okay? I you know, again, I was the rock star, I was the cool one, I had the fun job, I had all this stuff, I had everything but money. And they had money, and didn't have anything else. So to me, it was just like right off the bat, I already knew. You know, I already knew that, you know, I was already living in my retirement because I got to, again, enjoy every single day of work. I got to, you know, wake up, you know, many times, you know, later in the day. I worked at night. I worked when everybody was at play and so on and so forth. It was just like a different life. So eventually I just kept doing that. But after a while, it started to kind of grow tiresome and very difficult. So then that's when I had to move on. All right, sorry, I'm just kind of trying to hurry up here, trying to put a period on that sentence so I can start answering a few questions, okay? Because I see if some of you guys out there are asking me some questions. Like I was saying earlier, please, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm going to be jumping back and forth from story time to answering questions and so on and so forth. Okay, so That's right, George Carlin. Yeah, I used to love George Carlin when I was in high school, when I was a younger buck. I used to love George Carlin. In fact, again, I'm old enough that, we used to buy his records. Well, CDs, all right? We used to buy his CDs and listen to his CDs, all right? Me and my friends would just put his CD, George Carlin CDs on, or someone like Dennis Leary, whatever, comedy, and we used to just sit there and laugh our asses off. No drugs, no nothing, all right? We just sit there and listen to these people, and yeah, you know what I mean? Like, again, this is the way I kind of grew up, okay? My Fairy Treasure says, okay, I have an eBay business, and if I move to Mexico, I need to move my merchandise with me. What do you think about this? Yeah, go ahead and do it. Why not? eBay is an international business, right? It's an online business. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, you can do that. I don't know how to do that. That's not my thing. But you can just find some videos online on how to do that. There are plenty of people that, have their online business out here in Mexico, or they run their online business from Mexico, from the comfort of their own home. So you can do that here too. So you just, again, you got to go and do some more research on that, but you can definitely do it. So, let me see, any more questions? I got some music in the background. Hopefully, let me know if the music is too loud. Let me know if you can hear me or not. I think you guys can hear me. You guys usually tell me. There's no import tax on your move. Well, I mean, Mui Name says, bro, how can you make sure the landlord returns the rental deposit? You can't make sure of that. So you have to, plan accordingly. Look, in Miami, okay, whenever I would leave a deposit, okay, for any rental, I already knew that I wasn't going to get that back. So what we would do in Miami is that we would live out our deposit, okay? So if there's 1 or 2 deposits left on the property, what we would do is that we would not pay rent the last month or 2, okay? And then use the deposit as rent. Now, this is something you have to talk to your landlord about. And again, it's going to be different on a case-by-case basis. A lot of it's going to depend on, the contract you signed, if you signed the contract, and so many other issues. But long story short, that's something that you can do, where you can just talk to your landlord and say, hey, I'm not going to renew my lease, or they might tell you, hey, we're not going to renew the lease. And then you're like, okay, no problem. Okay, since you have 2 of my deposits, I'm not going to pay rent the last 2 months that I'm here. All right. And because I'm going to need that money in order to rent my other place. And then that's it. They'll keep the deposit, but it's going to go for the last 2 months of rent, or the last month of rent. Okay. So it makes sense. So that's something you have to kind of work out. But I mean, it's an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something you can guarantee. And I've actually asked my lawyer about this, and I've gone deeper into this because I've had other, people out there that have had this issue. And long story short, how it works is like this. They don't return to the deposit, and they owe you money. Then you got to take them to court, and then you got to get that money back. And 99% of the time, they'll rule in your favor, and they'll give you the money back. But it's going to cost you lawyer fees. It's going to cost you money, time, all this other stuff that's probably going to end up costing you more than the actual deposits. So if you're in a situation like that and they keep your deposit, just call it a loss. You got to cut your losses and move on, and that's it. So this is why you got to ask these questions now and mitigate the situation before it gets to that point. And so, again, in my opinion, what I would do is that, again, you got to talk to your landlord and express the situation with them and go from there. All right. So that's the only way, really that that's the only way really you're ever going to get your deposit back. Now, there are some landlords that are good, and they will give you your deposit back after, the allotted amount of time, and they do their inspection and they do all that stuff. But, the reality is that it's not something that happens on a regular out here. Most landlords will not return your deposit back. And so you got to mitigate that as best as you can. Okay. So, So so there you go. All right. So hopefully that answered your question. Buenos dias and hello to everybody out there in the audience today. Shout out to everyone. Did I ever do a video with Gringos R Us? I don't even know who that is. Oh, thank you. Thank you on the shirt. No, actually, my really good friends David and Rebecca made this for me. And I wore it today because, again, in the spirit of retirement, you know, I feel like, hey, you know, why not wear it? Because I've always been a hippie at heart, okay? Again, I hate talking about this, especially in today's world, but I grew up very liberal-minded, okay? Very liberal. I'm not a Democrat, okay? Or Republican or anything, okay? Liberal-minded, you know, meaning live and let live, and everything that used to stand for. Not what it stands for today, all right? But long story short, you know what I mean? Obviously, you know, hippie at mind, but it was very, 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 very hard working. If anyone's ever worked in a kitchen before, you know, yeah, they're, you know, it's like playing football or playing a sport. You know, there's no half-assing it, okay? You got to come in and you got to bust your ass every single day and work very hard and have a lot of discipline and all that other stuff, okay? So, yeah, anyways, so long story short, I would be classified right in the middle, but, you know, this is all in my spirit. Okay, again, why we're talking about retiring early, why I told you guys, you know, that I retired early, basically, you know, a few years into my cooking career, a few years into, you know, being a chef, I quickly realized, you know, oh, wait, I'm already living my retirement. I'm doing things right now that all of my friends that have all this money, all these, you know, master's degrees that have all this stuff, they wish they could do. All right. I do more in 1 week than they probably do. You know, again, I live more life in 1 week just being in a kitchen, all right, than they do probably in 6 months or a year. Okay. And this is the reality of it. Okay. I only had a few friends that had really, really amazing jobs, careers, and also made a lot of money. Most of them, it was either, you know, you have a pretty cool, awesome life doing what you love, making not much money, or you're making a lot of money, or you're making pretty good money, but you hate what you do. All right. So I got plenty of family members, okay, that have a lot of money, like a lot of money, but they hate what they do. They hate their lives. They hate a lot of the things that, you know, encompasses, you know, getting that money. And a lot of them look at me like, man, I wish I could be more like you. I'm like, what do you mean? You can be like me right now. You know what I mean? But are you willing to make the sacrifices that entail living in your retirement right now? Look, for example, you know, I just made a video, again, this past Sunday talking about cost of living. And look, my cost of living is around $1,000 or $1,500 a month. It all really depends, you know, on how business goes, all right? That's as simple as that, all right? And what expenses I might have that month. But still, it's very little. That's nothing. And a lot of people, you know, basically either agreed with me and said, yeah, Jose, I spend the same as you or less. Or a lot of people out there really disagreeing with me, especially on Facebook. So many people say, no, you need thousands and thousands of dollars to live in Mexico. And it's like, yeah, if you want to live like the 1%, like the upper 1%, yeah, you do need thousands and thousands of dollars, you know? But the reality is that if you just want to live life, you don't need that much money. You can live life, okay? So, you know, out here in Mexico, a lot of people just live life. You know, they really know how to enjoy and live their life. They care a lot about, you know, their family. They care a lot about their health. They care a lot about, you know, having fun, enjoying their time. And I could go on and on and on. So, you know, they don't really emphasize, you know, on making money. There's a lot of Mexicans that do that, but it's not everybody. You know, most people just, they know that in order for them to be able to go to the beach every weekend, if that's what they want to do, well, that means that they have to work, you know, just a normal amount of hours and a normal job. And, you know, by working a normal amount of hours at a normal job, well, that's not going to allow them to make that much money, okay, and not have fancy things. But the one thing it's going to allow them to do is, you know, go to the beach every weekend if they want, you know, or go to the beach on a Tuesday afternoon, you know, after they get off of work or whatever it is they want to do. All right. So it gives you freedom. OK, it gives you this freedom that when you're tied down, that you got to be on call with your boss, with your job all the time. All right. where you got to work weekends, where you got to do all this stuff for somebody else. Yeah, well, you know, you got to sacrifice your life for that. You know, you got to sacrifice fun things. You got to sacrifice time with family. You got to sacrifice all these things that not everybody is willing to give up. And it's as simple as that. So, you know, for those out there that need all of this money, you know, in order to live in Mexico, really what they're saying is that they want to live like rich people, extremely comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that comes at a cost. All right. But if you just want to live very simply, you know, where you wake up whenever you wake up, you know, you have your margaritas, you can sit by the pool, you know, you go to the beach, you know, whatever, you go for a hike, whatever it is, you know, walk your dog every day. You just want to live a very, 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 very simple life, very simple retirement. You don't need that much money. You don't need that much money. Okay. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. So, you know, all those people out there that need, you know, $3,000-$4,000 to live out here in Mexico, it's like, what are you doing? You know, what are you spending your money on? It doesn't, look, I don't make that much money. I really don't make that much money, man. This month is, you know, it's going to be rough, okay? You know, I got to pay rent. I got to do a few things. You know, money's not coming in. It's the middle of summer. You know, things are slow. It's fine. It's not a big deal, you know, but again, it's like, if I really want to, we can go to the beach tomorrow. Do we need money to go to the beach? Not much. You know what I mean? Like, we can just take the bus. You know, the bus is a couple bucks. All right, we get to the beach. We go to Oxxo, the 7-Eleven, and we buy a 6-pack of beer. We buy one of those styrofoam coolers. We put some ice in there. You know, what are we really spending? You know what I'm saying? We buy some cheap-ass hot dogs or sandwiches or whatever. We have a little picnic on the beach. The beach is free. You know? So what are we spending? 20 bucks? 25 bucks, you know, to have a whole day at the beach. You know, we're in the USA. It's like, bro, you're spending that just on parking. You know, you're probably just spending that on a 6-pack. You know, you're probably just spending, you know what I'm saying? And so all these other things like that. So it's you know, it's all about, you know, priorities. So let me see more questions. Read some questions here. That's right, Razleo, as you said, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. You know, shout out to George Carlin, the one and only, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Virginia Hernandez says, if you're on disability in the USA, can you work in Mexico? Well, if you are in disability in the USA, you can't come to Mexico because you will lose your disability. So that's how that works. So if you are on disability in the USA and you come to Mexico, then you're going to have to work in Mexico, from my understanding. I don't think things like disability are transferable here. Let me see. In fact, I think SSDI is, but I don't know about the other ones. I don't think the other ones are. I think SSDI might be. So yeah. Sorry. I actually, somebody asked me this question a while ago and I answered it. So if you have SSDI, then yes, you can, you know, have your SSDI, you know, you can cash your SSDI out here in Mexico, but any other kind of benefits you cannot. Okay. Jimmy John says, Jose, do you think living in Guadalajara will be a cool place to live? Yeah, definitely, 100%. What barrio or what neighborhood? I don't know, because I don't know the area well enough yet. I only went there for 1 week, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, but I hear wonderful things, so I don't know enough about it yet, okay? I stayed in Zapopan, in that area, and it was amazing. I really, really loved it, so... let me see. Oh, okay. Carolyn says, I wanted to know for a while, what's the art behind your left shoulder? That right there. Whoa. This right here? Which one? The dog? Okay, the dog is my friend Katie Esser. And I did a video with her. And in that video, she made that portrait of Gizmo. That's my dog. Okay, the one all the way over there. And then this one over here. That's a great question. Here, I'll give you a... Here. That's Christian made that. Hold on, let me... Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry. So Christian made this. Okay. So that's what that is. So I don't know, there's no name for it or anything. It's just, you know, something that she made, all right? So, but she made that like, how long ago? 2013. So that's 11 years old already. Wow, okay. Yeah, shout out to everyone out there. Hey, guys, give me 1 sec. Hold on, because I got somebody at the door. Sorry, just 1 second. Hopefully the music is still playing. Hold on a second. I apologize. By the way, shout out to Alex Schmidt with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. It's like, how do Mexican HOAs differ from American HOAs? All right, I'll get to that when I get back. Give me 1 sec. Hold on, because I got somebody at the door. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Hey, sorry about that. Whew. Jeez, hot outside. All right, so what is the difference between a Mexican HOA and an American HOA? Well, in an American HOA, you already know what the American HOA is like, okay? It's basically, you know, like living in internment camp, okay? They have a bunch of crazy rules. You know, there's like, you know, the HOA committee, you know, and they basically decide, you know, what color your house can be, you know, how tall your grass can be, you know, whether or not you can have visitors or not, you know, how loud the music can be, if you can even play music, whatever, okay? So it's not fun. In a Mexican HOA, in the few places that have a Mexican HOA, it's basically all voluntary, okay? So it's the same, but it's voluntary, and you know, there's nothing that anyone can do whether you comply or not. It's as simple as that, okay? So I mean, that's the simplest, easiest, quickest explanation I can give you on that. But the reality is that it's not, you know, it's nowhere near, you know, what it is in the USA. In the USA, if you live in an HOA in America, it is basically living in hell. Okay, you know, you got a bunch of Karens, you know, that run the whole HOA, and they make your life miserable. And in Mexico, it's not like that at all. Okay, in Mexico, basically anyone that chooses to live in one of these places that does have an HOA, well, it costs a lot of money. So most of those people basically comply, you know, with whatever rules that they have there, because, you know, they're just trying to make sure that it looks nice and it continues to look nice. You know, they're paying a lot of money to live there. And those that do not comply, you know, a lot of times, you know, they themselves, you know, eventually find their way on their way out, or people leave the area, you know, but it's not as common, you know, to hear, you know, horror stories about HOAs here as it is in the USA. So long story short, living in an HOA here, it's okay, it's palatable. I still wouldn't do it myself, but you know, again, compared to the USA, it's night and day. You know, out here's a lot easier. This is like the quickest, easiest description of it, because again, I don't know, I don't live in an HOA. That's not my department. I made a video. All right, in fact, let me find it for you guys. All right, so I made a video where I interviewed two really good friends of mine that happen to live in a gated community out here. So they talk a little bit more in depth about something like that. Here, here's the link. Okay, there's the link, so you can watch that on your own. All right, and then you can even reach out to them. Their email is there, and ask them more in detail how life in an HOA is like. Okay. Oh, Goldfish says, I haven't heard about your garden lately. How's it looking? Well, it was basically dead up until like about a month ago, because again, we've been going through a very, very dry season, and a dry few years, and basically it's dried everything out. But we just got a bunch of heavy rains, you know, this past month. We even had a hurricane, and all that rain basically revitalized not just the garden but everything else. So right now, the garden is green again, but you know, I don't got anything growing there, just a bunch of weeds and jungle weeds and plants and just a bunch of random things. And so I do have a few things that are living back there, but nothing, you know, good. And now it's in the middle of summer, so it's hard to plant anything. But you know, if we keep on going with a wet season, I'm definitely going to start hitting up the garden again. I'm already starting to work on it and revitalize it and get it back into game shape. So by the time fall gets here, you know, when a month or two, in a few months, whatever, you know, I can start planting and I can start, you know, revitalizing and putting that garden back in shape. So that way, by the time spring comes along, by the time we get to this time next year, I should have a nice garden again. All right. So thank you. You know, great question, but there's nothing really much I can do. Let me see. I'm just going through the questions real quick. Let me see. Jimmy John says, no, Jose, depends. SSDI, you can live overseas and not for SSI. Correct. That's what I was saying. So I did say that, okay? So, you know, again, if you have SSDI, you can, you know, collect that outside of the USA, but not for SSI, okay? I made a video on that as well. Let me see. Where, you know, I went a little deeper because I did some research on it. Hold on a second. So, and I'm going to put the link for that video. You know, and I got more information on that, so. Okay, so that's the SSDI video. All right. Naru Jaloof, shout out to you, brother. What's up, Jose? I'm bringing the family down in October. Going to schedule a consultation. Can't wait to meet you in person. Shout out to you. Shout out to the shout outs. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let me see. Okay. If anyone wants to purchase any one of Christian's artworks, or you know, you want to inquire with her more about, you know, what she has for sale and all this other stuff. Hold on, let me get you her website so you can visit her website. Hold on a second. Got a lot of things going on here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Can I receive Social Security in Mexico? Yes, you can. Many people receive Social Security in Mexico. You can receive Social Security on the moon. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so basically how it works is Social Security, you know, your pension, you know, your retirement, it gets deposited into your U.S. account, and then you transfer that money from your U.S. account into your Mexican account. That's it. Or again, you know, you can just basically have it, you know, again, it's deposited into your U.S. account, and then you have your U.S. debit card. You go to an ATM out here and basically just take out your money. Now, it's recommended that you get a Mexican bank account so you can just transfer from your U.S. bank account to your Mexican bank account so you can get the best exchange rate, and, you know, it's just easier and better for you to do something like that, okay? So that's my recommendation. Is Christian learning English? Christian knows English, okay? Christian speaks English, okay? She speaks better English than you guys probably speak Spanish. Makes sense? Okay? So she doesn't speak English like me because, you know, I was born and raised in the United States of America, but she's, you know, she speaks English with, you know, again, if I can have a conversation with her in English if I want. Oh, hold on a second. You hear Gizmo? It's an iguana alert. It must be an iguana. Hold on a second. Yeah. See, Christian, she just said it's an iguana. Give me a second, guys. I gotta go take care of the iguana. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry about that. Many distractions today. Man, good thing I'm retired, right? Good thing I'm out here retired, all right? Otherwise, what a pain in the butt that would be, huh? Hold on a second. Sorry about that, guys.
Bruh.
So speaking of the garden, and it's really hot out there right now. You know, no clouds or anything like that. So basically it's just a hot sun. So iguanas, they love to lay out in the sun. So, you know, we have a huge wall in the back of the house there, and the iguanas, they just love to just, you know, plop on top of that wall and, you know, and just, you know, lay there and get that sun. But Gizmo, he's, you know, very protective of this house, you know, so he's out there, you know, like screaming at them, trying to, look, there's an iguana right there, just trying to get them down. So basically that right now was just out there, and Gizmo was trying to attack that, you know, to try to, by the way, he attacks them all the time. He gets in fights with them all the time, but that's another story for another day. So I was just, you know, trying to get rid of the iguana, you know, throw him in the other yard, you know, so that way Gizmo can shut up. Sorry about that. I apologize. But anyways, you know, of all, it's funny, right? We're like, today we're talking about retirement, we're chilling, we're hanging out, and notice, you know, how many distractions, how many things, you know, have happened, you know, which again, this is, you know, the thing, why I do what I do, you know, or live the life that I live, where it's not that big a deal, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I'm not stressing out, I'm not anything. If I was doing a regular job, imagine I'm doing a regular job and I'm in the middle of a Zoom meeting, you know, with some, you know, dude, you know, in a suit and tie or whatever it is, and then that happens, you know, how am I going to explain that to him, you know, and not look unprofessional? You know, right now it looks very professional doing what I do, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it just goes with it goes with what I'm doing. But anyways, yeah, Kristen speaks perfect English. I mean, not perfect English, you know, but pretty, really good English. You know, her English is like an 85% level. She can have a conversation in English, no problem. She's a very talented artist, obviously, you know what I mean? Like you can see from that art, but that's nothing. Go to her website, check out her other works. And yeah, you know, she's recognized, you know, in the Mexican National Archives. You know, she regularly does events, you know, with the Mexican, you know, the local, you know, here in the Yucatan, how do I say, it's like art center, and you know, she's like almost like an anthropologist slash anthropologist, sociologist or something. Anyways, whatever. I'm not the one to speak on her work, all right? You know, I'm not an art expert. I just know, you know, I enjoy the fact that she also lives a very similar kind of life as I do. You know, we do what we love, all right? But anyways, so yeah, she's a very accomplished artist, and she's been doing it since she was a kid and all that stuff. So, and she even teaches at the school from time to time, at the university, the art university. Yeah, Zapopan. Yeah, so Zapopan in Guadalajara is a great and amazing area. I mean, you know, I still got tons of footage that I have yet to show you guys, you know, where, you know, Tlaquepaque is great. I have not been to Tonalá. I heard it's great. Obviously, Guadalajara, you know, the whole area of Guadalajara is great as well. Zapopan is amazing. We were staying in the northern part of Zapopan. Amazing. But yeah, everything about Guadalajara, I personally loved. I'm just, again, out here, I'm living in, I know it's Merida and it's like 1 million people, but I come from Miami, which is like millions of people, you know, and, you know, millions of people just in that small metropolitan area, not including all of South Florida and then some. So for me, I'm a big city guy. I lived in Los Angeles, things like that. So I hear in just a small city of 1 million people in the middle of the jungle, yeah, I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere. So when I went to Guadalajara, I loved it because I felt like I was in a big city again, and, you know, everything about the big city vibes. But it was like Los Angeles, you know, like the chill big city vibes. All right, when I went to Mexico City, it was, you know, not as chill, but it's still pretty chill. You know, everything in Mexico is pretty chill. So, but whatever. Anyways, glad you guys enjoyed the painting and her artwork. Let me see. Questions. Oh, and then about, okay, so yes, you can receive your Social Security payments out here, but when it comes to Medicare, it's a complicated issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, there are tons of other YouTubers and other people out there that have made videos on Medicare, all right, Medicaid, whatever. So check those out, okay? For more details on that. Obviously, you know, I'm like 25 years away from getting Medicare, so that's not on my radar. I don't know much about that. But from my understanding, I've talked to a lot of retirees that live in Mexico, and I've heard a lot of their stories, and most of them, they just, get some sort of insurance out here, or they just basically pay all their medical expenses out of pocket, and it's still cheaper, okay, than if they were to just have Medicare in the USA and things like that. Now, again, I'm not talking about catastrophic issues. I'm just talking about just regular, everyday, day-to-day maintenance, get your medicine, treat your disease, whatever it is. Most people just end up paying out of pocket, and it's a lot more affordable, and they get better doctors, better healthcare, better everything. But again, this is on a case-by-case basis. You should just go do more research on that. I apologize, I don't have any more research. I don't know much more info on that. And it's not on my radar, all right? So, just FYI, all right? Caroline says Christian might really like connecting with them. Connecting with who? Not sure who you're talking about there. Yeah, so the area in Guadalajara, which is, Colonia Americana, Chapultepec, and stuff like that. Yeah, for me, that was a very gentrified zone. It was nice. It was pretty. It was a good area. I probably wouldn't live around there. Because it was, if there's an area where there's the expats and the foreigners living, it's in Colonia Americana, basically American neighborhood. I don't know what else to say. That's where the American consulate is and all this other shit. So, I mean, it was nice. It was, again, we did videos on there. I showed you a little bit of the area, but yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. I actually enjoyed the rest of Guadalajara a lot better than that area. Again, that area was nice. I enjoyed it. We had, a fun time walking through there, going to a restaurant there. But yeah, for me, I liked Zapopan better, than the area where I was staying at, a lot better than Colonia Americana, for example, or even going to Tlaquepaque, which was nice. I mean, it was a magic town, in the middle of the city. So to me, I like that area as well. So let me see. No, thank you, Jalisco Guanajuato Travels, for the kind words. All right, I'm looking through the chat, for questions and comments, and just going off of that for 1 second. I want to make sure I answer all your questions, any questions you might have. We're just chilling out today. Again, we're retired. We're early retired, all right? I already, mentioned, how I ended up retiring early, all right? Again, retiring early doesn't mean that, see, people have a misconception of retirement. People think that retirement means I'm going to sit back and do nothing, all right? That's not retirement to me at all. Retirement to me means I am not part of the workforce. I am not a debt slave anymore. I am not a slave to the system. I'm not, a slave to a corporation, to a job, to a paycheck. That's really what that means to me. So retirement, it's all about a mindset. So I've been retired a very long time ago. Again, even when I was a cook, a chef, I was retired. I wasn't tied down or married to that job or paycheck. If I had a problem with my chef or my boss, or I found a better job that paid better elsewhere, I was gone. I did not care. I was, work for hire. I was like a mercenary. I just went where the money was. I went where, the best environment for me was. So again, even if I was getting paid good at a job, but I was having a lot of problems with the boss or other entities there, I would just find another job and sometimes get paid a little less just to be in a better work environment. Okay, and so that's what retirement meant to me. The fact that I got to cook for a living. I mean, come on. Just like right now, I get to make YouTube videos for a living. I get to help people out for a living. For me, that's fun. It's like someone that gets to play guitar at the local pub for a living. And sure, they might not be millionaires. They might not have a hit record. They might not be winning any Grammys or, flying on a jet like Taylor Swift or whatever it is. But they get to live out their dream. And what is their dream? To just wake up whenever, write their music, play their guitar, You know, go to the local pub every few days, you know, or out of the week, you know, and then get paid there a few bucks, you know, enough to pay rent. You know, they might get a free drink or free few drinks. They might get food at the pub or at the place that they're playing, and that's plenty of money. You know, again, you got enough money to pay your rent, you got food, you got alcohol, you got a great environment, you get to do what you love, which is play your music. I mean, you're retired. You're basically retired. So, as we talked about earlier, because anyone that just sits back and does nothing, you're dead. You're basically gonna die, all right? Because that's no way to live. You gotta do something, anything, whatever it is, okay? It's something that gives meaning to your life. That's the most important thing, all right? So that's why, to me, it never made any sense, you know, again, you know, working from 18 years old all the way to 65, all right, with basically little breaks in between, you know, maybe 1 week vacation every year or so, all right, which was, you know, again, not that much fun, you know. Anyway, I don't want to get into a lot of that, but anyways, the point I'm making is that just so you can get to 65, get retired, get your pension, and just then sit back and do nothing. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's not something that appealed to me very much. So that's why I never really, you know, I never really subscribed to that. Again, I'm living my retirement. I encourage you guys to live your retirement. You can do that as well. Whatever it is you want to do. Okay? Again, you can come out here and live humbly, all right? And just live and enjoy your life and not care about material possessions, all right? Just care about experiences, care about, you know, living that life. And trust me, you're going to be very happy. You're going to be retired. You know, obviously, we all got to do something. You know, so it's not, that, again, the whole idea of just doing nothing does not appeal to me at all, all right? But I know all of us are different, and some people really just don't want to do anything, and I get that as well. Austin says, Jose, I want to find myself a Mexican wife and move to Mexico. Okay, good. Okay. However, you spooked me in your dating video when you said cheating is common in the Yucatan. Can you please elaborate? No, cheating is common in Latin America. You know, it's as simple as that. And what does it mean? It's like if you don't satisfy your partner, well, they're going to probably find satisfaction elsewhere. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. You know, I don't know why people cheat. You know, there's many reasons why people cheat. I do know that Mexico is one of the leading Latin American countries where that's a thing. But it's not, you know, with everybody, you know. I don't have that problem, you know what I mean, that I know of. No, it's kidding. No, I don't have that problem, you know what I mean? I behave, she behaves, you know, we're good, you know, individuals, but, you know, it does happen. Of course it happens, but it's a lot more complicated issue. I'm not going to be super duper elaborating on this. There's a lot of cultural issues that come with that, but it's just basically, you know, things run hot out here. I don't know if that makes any sense, okay? So it's not that people just cheat to cheat. You know, there's always a reason behind why they do what they do. But a lot of times, you know, people are just extra horny out here. I don't know what to say, you know? It happens, you know? But, you know, the thing is, it's like this, you know? If you are someone that's 60 years old and you get yourself a 25-year-old girlfriend, she's probably going to cheat on you, okay? She's probably with you only for the money. 95% chance. So that's probably the situation there, okay? If it's two people that are around the same age, well, again, the reason that partner is going to cheat is the same reason that partner is going to cheat no matter what part of the world you're in, okay? So that's really the way I look at it. You know, either you're a crappy partner, okay? You know, you don't, you know, have a lot of sex. I don't know. You know, there's just the same exact reasons, okay, that people cheat all over the world. The same reasons here, okay? I don't know. You know. Sorry, I wish I could elaborate more on that. I'm not a, you know, that's not my, level of expertise. All right. Thoughts on investing in real estate in Mexico? Yeah, I mean, you know, real estate's always a good investment. So I don't know. I've never been to Puebla. I don't know the area. What type of garden do you have and what are you growing? Oh, great question. So I was growing all kinds of things. You know, we grew tomatoes, we grew peppers, I tried to grow potatoes. That did not end well. One thing I realized is that the dirt out here in this part of Mexico is not that good because I live in the jungle. Again, I did a whole video on this. I did a lot of research on this, but yeah, long story short, the dirt out here is not as good. If I was like living in Guadalajara or Oaxaca or other areas, you know, where it is very, very, very fertile ground, fertile dirt, for, you know, a lot of things like that, you can grow anything, anywhere, you know? And so it's a lot easier to grow out here, but actually out there, but out here in the Yucatan, it is some of the hardest and harshest, you know, growing conditions in Mexico. You know, outside of the desert, okay? So long story short, it's difficult, but there's things that you can grow out here. So we grew that, we grew rosemary, we got a pomegranate tree that survived. We grew spinach, we grew oregano, we still got oregano. What else? Yeah, you know. So we grew a variety of things. So we're gonna try and grow more things this coming season. And then stay tuned, you know, stay tuned to find out, you know, more on that as we do it. Carolyn says, thanks. I do remember she did a mural in a house tour you did once. That was nice, but this painting looks like it was her really expressing herself. Thanks again. Yeah, so again, you know, life of an artist can be very complicated, okay? And she is one of those individuals. Look, I'm a complicated individual as well. So again, if you look at her art, you visit her website and you see what she does, yeah, you know what I mean? Like she does, you know, this is why her artwork is mainly in museums or, like I said, in the National Archives of Mexico or things like that, as opposed to, you know, like a gallery so that some, you know, rich fuddy-duddy, you know, can buy her painting or at least look at it and pretend like they're gonna buy it, okay? So, you know, she's not necessarily in galleries because, you know, for her, when she makes art, it's really like an emotional thing. It's a visceral thing. She's acting like an anthropologist. You know, she's trying to really capture, you know, what life is out here in Mexico, in this part of Mexico specifically, and all this other stuff. So that's what's more important to her. But obviously, you know, if someone, you know, hires her to paint some flowers or paint an elephant or paint, you know, whatever it is, you know, she'll do that as well. You know, just like if someone hires me to, you know, cook for them, you know, I can do that, you know, whatever. But that's not really where her heart is at. You know, her heart is at, you know, her whole thing is at doing that kind of stuff. And then, you know, if you look at her artwork that's on her website, you're going to quickly see it's not the kind of artwork that most people are going to want in their home or most people might not want to buy. But it is artwork that, again, a museum will probably be definitely interested in, and certain entities out there might be interested in. So, you know, it's a complicated, you know, kind of thing there. And she makes money from doing other endeavors, you know, basically, you know, she sells t-shirts, she sells, you know, other kinds of artwork, you know, she does a bunch of things, you know. So, yeah. So, yeah, we're just living our life out here, you know. It is what it is, you know, we're definitely enjoying our life. Can I tell you anything about the Pacific side of Mexico? I mean, it's nice out there. You know, I don't know much about that area, you know, so I don't. Yeah, so look, guys, you know, I'm not an expert on Mexico, okay? I'm just an expert on living life, okay? And by the way, I say that loosely, all right? I'm not an expert in nothing, all right? So don't even, you know, go there. The thing is like, you know, my videos, if you look at my channel and the things that I provide here, I'm just, you know, giving you advice, you know, of all the things that I've learned by being out here. Again, for those of you guys that don't know my story, I came out here with nothing, all right? And I basically, you know, built everything I have out here, you know, in the time that I've been here, and I've learned from my mistakes, and I've learned as I go. I speak Spanish. I married a Mexican, you know, my Mexican wife. And so, you know, I have a lot more insight on what it is to live out here. You know, again, live out here, okay? More than anything else. But, you know, I'm not a real estate expert. I'm not an expert on, you know, Mexico or the environment or, you know, all these other things. You know, there's other channels or other people that might, you know, be better at that. Yeah, so, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just like, I mean, you're looking at the video and the pictures there, you know what I mean? Like, the West Coast is beautiful and it's amazing out there, and I want to go visit that area more, you know. I would love to visit Baja, you know, I would love to visit, you know, the coast, you know, meaning Puerto Vallarta, Puerto Escondido. I would love to visit a lot of those areas, you know, but I don't know much. I mean, I lived on the Pacific coast of the USA, and I lived on the Atlantic coast, you know, being from Miami, and I prefer the beaches on the Atlantic coast of the USA and the Gulf of Mexico, as opposed to the Pacific. But I don't know anything about the Mexican Pacific. You know, I hear that it's nice. I mean, that looks like the Pacific there. I don't know. See, right there? So, sorry. What did I do with the iguana that was outside? Oh, I just pushed it into the other yard. That's it. Got rid of it. You know, Gizmo just does not want the iguana on our property, you know, on the wall, for him to come into the property, anything like that. So basically, I just gotta, you know, scooch him out of here. No, iguana, I mean, have you not seen Crocodile Dundee? You know, iguana is not something you want to eat. It tastes like shit, okay, from my understanding. So... all those background images you're looking at are just different scenes of Mexico. So everything you're looking at right now in the background with the music, that's just different scenes of Mexico. Okay, I got that video on my website. Sorry, I got that video on my YouTube page. All right, so if you guys want to see this video on your own or listen to that music on your own, you know, you can do that. Here, let me show you. Okay. Right there, relaxing instrumental background music. Okay, here, let me for those of you guys that might be interested. Oh wait, did I? Yeah, I think so. Did I give the right link? Whatever, who cares? Okay. Let me see what other questions you guys might have. Wondering how you manage to get medical coverage. As far as I understand, Medicare, yeah. So again, I don't know anything about Medicare, Medicaid. Like most people just pay out of pocket. I'm you know what? I'm gonna skip all the way to the bottom. Okay, I'm not. I feel like I've already answered some of these questions. So again, if I missed your question and you want me to answer it, or you want me to look at it, please go right on ahead and ask it again. Okay, I'm just going back to the bottom of the chat. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, sorry, I got some bugs out here, some flies with the heat and the humidity. Thank you for so much for all the kind words, everybody. Okay, that's it. All right. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, let me know. All right, but anyways, you know, just going back to the whole retirement thing, you know, to me, you know, I knew from a very young age, you know, that you know, the whole idea of retirement, you know, again, working yourself to death, just so you can have a few years at the end of your life to enjoy life. That was not something, you know, that was appealing to me. Because again, coming from Florida and there being so many retirees out there, you know, in my own family, you know, we had a large family, and you know, we had a lot of older people that most of them have died off already, but you know, a lot of older people, and I got to see firsthand, you know, which are the ones that enjoyed their life and which are ones that regretted their life, you know, and their decisions. And so I got to learn a lot from that. And basically, it's all about the fact that, you know, you got to live your life right now. So again, think about it. You know, I don't know what age you guys are right now out there in the audience, but you guys are already old enough. Okay, I'm 42, 43. All right, we're all old enough to know that, the older we get, the more difficult things are going to be. So, in order for us to do the things that we really want to do, you got to do them as young as possible, So, I'm not going to, if I'm 60 years old, I'm not going to go out there and be climbing no mountains. I'm not going to go out there and, do all this physical activity. Again, I got to do this now. You got to live your life now. It's imperative for everyone out there to figure this out, as quickly as possible, that you got to live your life now. It's not about money. It's not about possessions. It's about living that life. Narad Jalou says, I've seen the video but cannot find it. Who's the woman that owns a French restaurant and your friend that owns the Italian restaurant? We plan on eating at those places. Yeah, just here, look, let me give you guys a quick tip, okay? On how to use my YouTube page. Okay? This is my YouTube page. Okay? So you go right here. Man, I know, I don't know. I gotta figure out in the settings how I can show you guys my my mouse. But look, all the way, just look in right there where you see the little where it says, look, home, videos, shorts, live, podcast, playlist, okay, whatever, okay, community, store, and then here, okay, the search. Okay, so on the search, for example, type French, and then boom, right there, okay, there's the video, okay. Italian, boom, right there, okay. So, but anyways, or again, just residency, boom, right there, okay. SSDI, boom, right there, okay. So again, everything's here. If you cannot find it here, okay, then please go ahead and ask me a question. By the way, you can ask all the questions in the world. I love you, Naru Jalou. Shout out to you. But no, just to to help everyone out there. Okay. Okay, just so you can get an idea. Look, cost of living. And get an idea. You see, boom. Okay. All right. So use this, okay? This is a very powerful tool, okay, which is the search, okay? And again, I have tons of videos, and you can search, okay, to your heart's content, all right, about all kinds of things. So look, you can look retired, yeah, sorry, retire, okay? So there's the video, there's this one, there's that one. See, all the videos that I've done. Okay. Hope that helps. Okay. Let me see. Reese says, looking for a small land. We'll put 2 small container homes. Live in one and rent the other. That sound reasonable to you? I'm not a big fan of container homes. Just build a home. And remember, you're in Mexico. Things are a lot cheaper here. It's probably going to be cheaper, or more cost effective, and you're going to have a better result. Actually building your home from rock, cement, whatever, than bringing in these container homes and doing that. But again, it's up to you. You do whatever. Or should I start with a little cafe in town, in your opinion? I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you want to do. You got to make a living. Obviously, you say you got to make some money. So it all depends. If you're going to be renting a place, you got to remember that you're not going to be renting that place, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're not going to have 100% vacancy. Or non-vacancy or whatever, meaning that you're not always going to have somebody in there. So if you have somebody in there, great, you know, you can make some money on that. If you don't have somebody renting that place, and you're not going to be making any money, so how are you going to pay whatever bills? As opposed to having a little cafe, well, you always got money trickling in, but you got to manage that business and work that business every day. So I don't know, I can't answer that for you, you know what I mean? It's up to you what you want to do. Yeah. You know, if you want to live a very, very, very simple, humble life, you know, you can go to a small town, village, and open up a small little place, and, you know, whatever. But again, it's businesses, you know, if you don't know anything about business, if you don't know anything about the restaurant business, if you don't know anything about all these things, then you're probably not going to do very well, because it's not easy. It's hard. It's difficult, you know, and, you know, you might open up a cafe and nobody wants a cafe there, so you're not going to have anybody come in. Or you might open up a cafe and there's other cafes that people would prefer to go to. And it's a very difficult business to get into. Same thing with real estate. It's not just, you know, building a place and people are just going to show up and rent there. So you got to do a lot more research and know what you want to do, and see if it's what is right for you. Edge Diamond says, thank you, Jose. You know how I used to tell you that you're more like a social worker. Yeah, exactly. You're doing so much good to so many people. I hope all the goodness you share comes back 100%. Thank you, Linda. Shout out to you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah. So you know, going back to what I do on my channel. You know, so when I first moved here, I was just recording, okay, my experiences, okay, of moving out here without knowing anything about nothing. So basically my whole idea was that I was going to record, you know, everything, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and then we were all going to learn together, and that's it. You know what I mean? That was my idea, and it's, you know, basically, you know, that's kind of like what it's turned into. But I'm not like an expert. You know, I'm not out there trying to study which is the best place to retire in, or what is the best city with the best transportation, or I don't know any of that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my thing. You know what I mean? To me, it was just more like I was just documenting, and I don't know. I was just looking for quality of life when I first moved out here. You know, like I wanted a better life. And I've always worked very, 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 very hard, and I sacrificed a lot. Again, being a cook, a chef, whatever. And but I always knew, you know, I'll work, you know, very hard, and you know, again, I'll put in the hours as long as I'm doing what I love. It's totally fine. Okay, so but working and doing something you hate, that's the worst thing that you could do, you know, for your soul, for your body, for everything, you know. So it was all about self-preservation more than anything else. And so, yeah, no, I just came out here because I just wanted to live my life. I wanted to enjoy my life. I did not want to continue living the life that I was living in the USA, which was work, just so you can get a paycheck, so you can waste that whole paycheck on bills and then have no money left, and then work, you know, so you can get another paycheck and still be broke and still be miserable and have to commute to work and, you know, all that. You know, I just wanted to get away from all that. So, and I did, because at one point when I became a cook, you know, when I was doing that for a living, you know, 20 years ago in the USA, well, it was great. You know, it wasn't that bad. You know, I could afford to live. I was enjoying I was enjoying what I did. I was able to pay my bills. I had a few bucks left over, the whole thing. But eventually I got to the point where I was like, you know, I had to put in 60 hours to just be able to pay my bills. All right. And as time went on, you know, they work you more, you know, it's more, you know, they work you more to the bone and they pay you less. And you know this, you know, these are not things that I need to talk about. You know what I mean? At today's world and the environment that we're in today, I think everyone is pretty aware of all that. You know, the fact that in today's world, you know, you got to work harder than generations in the past and get paid less, and everything costs more. So I was like, yeah, I'm done. You know, I don't want to keep doing this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just came out here on a whim. Without much of a plan. I mean, I had a little bit of a plan, but at the end of the day, I knew it was going to take a lot of work, you know, to get to, you know, just where I'm at right now. But I figured, you know, I would rather work extremely hard to get to this life that I'm living right now instead of just work really hard for basically no reward, no nothing, you know? To live, again, in the USA, I would be working harder, okay? Working harder meaning, you know, I work more right now, but obviously, again, working harder because I was a cook. But anyways, working harder for less, you know? And so to me, it's just like, I don't know. That's why I just kind of, you know, came out here. And then, yeah, everything I do is just, you know, basically relaying the information. Relaying the mindset that I'm talking to you guys about right now. Where, you know, again, I'm just telling you constantly, listen, life is to be lived. You got to go and chase experiences. Okay? You got to go and live that life. It's not about money. It's not about possessions. It's not about all these things. Again, I've already told you guys, I got plenty of family and that's very rich, and they work so much and they don't get to enjoy any of it, and then they take 1 week vacation and they come out to where I live for vacation, and they're rushing to do as many things as possible so they can enjoy that vacation, right? Enjoy, loosely, you know, that vacation, while I get to enjoy my life every day. You know, if I want to go to the beach tomorrow, I can go to the beach tomorrow. You know, if I want to go to the park, I can go to the park. You know, I can do whatever I want. But yeah, I got to work very hard. You know, I got to maintain this channel. You know, a lot of things that I've learned, you know, from my life, you know, from the things that I've done. You know, it's like I got to have discipline. You know, I got to have a strong work ethic. You know, all these things, you know, to be successful. And so that's what I do. Even if I'm sick or not feeling well, I still got to figure out a way to pump out a video or even go live or do these things. Because it's not about, you know, necessarily, oh, I got to do it because it's my job and, you know, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do it. No, I'm not going to get in trouble. If I did not go live today, nothing would have happened except, you know, a bunch of you guys would have been disappointed that I'm not here. That's it. The end. You feel me? You know, it's things like that. You know what I mean? Like it's you know, being able to have more control of your life. Okay? That's the important thing. So, let me see. Megan says, even doctors do not know everything in medicine, in medical, but they often know where to find the answers. I think you do an excellent job with what you do here. Thank you, Megan. Yeah, so that's it. You know what I mean? So to me, a lot of the things that I like to teach you guys, because that's, you know, kind of like what I'm doing here, is teach you guys how you can be self-reliant on yourself, you know, not reliant on anything else. A lot of people are scared, you know, to do something like what I've done with my life, which is move out here in your mid-30s or 40s, and then just live off of whatever you can figure out. Because most people are like, oh my God, but what about my insurance? Oh my God, what about my government benefits? Oh my God, what about my retirement? You know, people ask me all the time, it's like, Jose, what are you going to do for your retirement? You know, how, you know, once you get to your retirement age, you know, what are you going to do? Bro, I'm already living that retirement. What are you talking about? You know, what do you mean? You know, by the time I get to that age, you know, I better have figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Like have some sort of, you know, I'm reliant on myself for my retirement, meaning that by the time I get to that age, the retirement is going to come from whatever I have done in the previous 60 years of my life. Make sense? So, you know, meaning, you know, I plan on writing a book. You know, I plan on continuing doing what I do now. I plan on continuing building upon everything I'm doing. So therefore, by the time, you know, 20 years comes along, you know, 20 years in the future, okay, either I'm still doing what I do, again, like the 90-year-old pizza maker, you know, in his own pizza shop, you know, so again, I'm either going to continue doing what I do and love, or I'm going to be living off of the residuals of what I've done in the past. So do I need any government, you know, check? Again, for anyone out there that's retired right now and you worked a regular job, okay, is that retirement check that you're getting from Social Security enough to provide the life that you want to live? No. You know, so, you know, what faith do I have that in 20 years, you know, whatever measly retirement check I'm going to get, all right, from just working my blue collar job is going to be enough to just sustain me. Okay, let alone, you know, live a life like the one I'm living right now. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, for me, it's like, you know what? I got the resources right now to do this. You know, resources meaning I got the health. Okay, I got the motivation, the ability. You know, I'm self-reliant. I got all these skills that I can put to work right now to build the life that I want to build. And I've done it. I've done it multiple times. You know, I've lived many adventures. By the way, real quick, you know, shameless plug. When I'm done here, which is, by the way, I got to be done here in 5 minutes. All right, so we got like about 5 more minutes left. But if you guys want to hear more about my adventures, my life, you know, all the things that I've done, go check out my other channel, Jose Unleashed. Okay, I'm gonna go live in about 30 minutes over there. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a quick link so you guys can go check me out over there. But anyways, on this channel, you know what I mean, I've talked about multiple things. You know what I mean, like, again, here, I'll give you a quick whatever. You know, the time I got thrown out of Disney. You know, my life as a chef. You know, the time I sunk a boat off the coast of Miami, the time I worked at a strip club, the time I lived in Seattle, the time I worked at the zoo, the time I lived in a boat in the middle of the desert, okay? And so on and so forth, okay? All right, and then, you know, we've got all the topics that we've talked about. Sorry about that. Anyways, but yeah, so anyways, go over there. You know, today we're going to be talking about the economy. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about, you know, all these other things. If you're interested in things like that, go check me out over there. But yeah, I mean, I've lived so many lives. I've done so many things. I've had so many adventures. It's an amazing life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, and I just want to continue building upon that. In fact, by the time I get to retirement age, yeah, I'm probably going to want to just sit back and do nothing, you know, because I've already done so much. You know, make any sense? You know, so I guess, I don't know. So, and yeah. Yeah, yes, I am free. Exactly. Array. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I'm mispronouncing your name. I apologize. Yeah, just reading some comments here. So again, you know, for a lot of you guys out there in the audience, you know, that are already, you know, getting close to retirement age, look, I get it. You know what I mean? That's it. You know, you've already made your bed. It is what it is. You can't go back on it. You might as well just do whatever you can. All right. So to make sure you can cash in, you know, on that retirement, cash in all that hard work you put in throughout your whole life, and then come out to a place like Mexico and live life, you know, just live your vacation, you know, live for the rest of your life, your vacation. But to me, it's like I'm already on vacation. Look, how about this? Even when right now, okay, you know, me and Christian, we went to Guadalajara, right? And that was vacation. But to me, it's like I'm already living vacation. You know what I mean? I can take vacation whenever I want. I already kind of live in that mindset. So when I went to Guadalajara, I was not only living vacation, but I was also taking the opportunity to film and work, because that's what I love to do. All right. And yeah, it all just kind of like, you know, works together. So you just, at the end of the day, you know, the thing that you've always heard from a very young age, you got to find what you love and do that. That's it. I know it sounds very simple and simplistic, but it's really, that's what it is. You got to find what you love and do that. Because look, when I was a cook, okay, it's not that I was, you know, obviously I was a good cook. I did it for a while. I was a good chef. You know, I was able to manage restaurants and help make people money. All right. You know, I was, you know, pretty good at that. But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily something I truly loved. I just loved the freedom that came from that. Okay. That's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed being able to teach others, you know, how to be better cooks, better people, better whatever. You know, I loved all these other things. Okay. So that's why I kind of just stuck with that. But what happened was that, like, eventually, just like, you know, you can't play football forever, you can't play baseball forever, you can't necessarily cook at a very high level forever, you know, without breaking your body down. So, you know, obviously my body started to break down because, you know, the stress, you know, I was overweight, you know, it's just so many things. And so to me, it was just like, all right, this is not sustainable. Eventually I got out of that. I started doing a bunch of things here and there until eventually I landed on YouTube and doing this. And then eventually I just started doing this until I found my way, or found me here. And how did, you know, when I first started doing my YouTube videos, again, for those that don't know, I was just doing vlogs. I was just, you know, taking the camera with me, you know, and showing you guys, you know, what my life was like in Seattle. And it was boring as hell. You know, I mean, it was pretty good videos, you know, whatever. I'm glad that I did them because I can always look back on those memories. But at the end of the day, you know, I was getting like 30 views, 100 views, tops, you know, on those videos, but I was doing what I loved. And so so what I was figuring out as the years went on is how to monetize doing what I love. So I love to talk, I love to make videos, I love to help people, you know, I love to do all of these things. So how can I put all that together to create what I have right now? So that's what's taken me a long time to get to where I'm at now. And so now that I've got to this point, well, now it's just, I'm happy. I love what I do. I want to continue doing this. So now it's just continuing to build and build and build and build on top of that. Again, I love to cook. I love all that stuff as well. I just hated the whole corporatization and corporate, you know, aspect, you know, to you know, the restaurant industry and what it's become. But again, if you guys, you know me well enough, you also know that I have a cooking channel, or had a cooking channel. So is it even here? No, see, I think I got rid of it. Oh, there it is. See, Cooking with Jose. Yeah, just show you real quick. See? All right. Look at that. And I used to cook live. All right, I used to do live cooking. All right, so here, let's just give you a quick example. You know, I used to cook a meal from start to finish live. See? We're ready to get started. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun today. Today, we're gonna be making a lot of yummy food. We're gonna be making some chicken cacciatore, or chicken cacciatora, or, you know, basically our version of that. We'll get into that in a minute. We're gonna be making some nudie, something that I've never made before. Looking forward to that. It looks really yummy. Can't wait to make some of that. And we're gonna be making some tiramisu. That's right. Hells yeah. She's Kristen says she's melting over there. All right, so we gotta let this cool. Last but not least, some asparagus. So anyways, guys, at the end of the day, it's like I said, you gotta do what you love. All right, you got to do what you love. You got to find what that is. All right, everyone's different, and then just do that, and not worry about money, not worry about all these other things that, at the end of the day, you know, once it boils down, you know, once you get to a certain age, you quickly figure out, man, I wish I would have lived my life more. Man, I wish I would not have spent so much of my life, you know, working hard, you know, just to, you know, get a boat. You know, whatever. You know, right now, if I want to go on a boat, I know plenty of people with boats and like, hey, you want to, it's like, let's go on the boat, let's go fishing, let's go whatever. You know, so it's like, you know, to me, it's like, I just want the experience of going out on a boat. I don't necessarily want a boat, you know, makes sense. So, yeah, anyways. So, yeah, long story short, guys, you know what I mean? Do what you love, okay? And if you do what you love, oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you for that compliment. I gotta get back into this, you know, but this is very difficult. This is very hard. It took a lot of work. Here, let me show you guys my key lime pie recipe. Today we're gonna be making some key lime pie, one of my favorite desserts. This is a very simple, easy recipe that only has 4 ingredients. All right, let's get started. The first ingredient we're gonna be needing here is a graham cracker crust. The second ingredient is 1 full can of condensed milk. The third ingredient is 3 egg yolks. And the fourth ingredient is 2/3 of a cup of lime juice. Oh wait, these are just limes. We need to juice them. There, that's better. First thing we're gonna do is put the condensed milk in a bowl. Second thing we're gonna do is add the egg yolks and mix them thoroughly. So mix both nice and good. You guys should make this. Then the third thing we're gonna do really good is add the lime juice. As you add the lime juice, you're gonna see it immediately start to curdle, but just keep stirring, and eventually you're gonna get a nice, thicker product. See how it's turning nice and thick? There you go. You're on the right path. That's what I meant to say. Then the next thing we're gonna do is just put it inside the graham cracker crust. Make sure you get every little bit. Don't miss a single drop. Then we gently tap it on the table just to make sure it settles. The next thing we're gonna do is stick it inside a 325-degree oven for around 15 to 20 minutes. Around the 15-minute mark, start checking. What you're looking for is the slight little jiggle, as you guys can see here. Let's jiggle it a little bit more on the table so you guys can see what I mean. And then what you're gonna wanna do is let it cool down for at least 4 hours before you take your first bite. I know you're gonna wanna immediately wanna eat this thing, but you gotta let it cool down for at least 4 hours. And then the last step is simply enjoy. I really hope you guys loved today's video. I sure loved making it for you. If you want more content like this, please check out the rest of the channel. All right. So, yeah, just do what you love, guys. You know what I mean? Whatever that is, it doesn't really matter. Trust me. Eventually, you'll find your happiness. But it's going to take a lot of work. And so, if you love what you do, it's not really work. It's fun. You're enjoying it. Reese says, knock on wood, hope the internet never goes down, but what would you do if the internet shuts down forever? Well, you just saw I cook. So I'll just start selling food. Which is, again, by the way, why I did that for a living. Because I knew it was something that I was going to be able to do no matter where I was on planet Earth, no matter what happens. All right? The end. So, you know, worst case scenario, you know, we lose the internet, it's fine. I can still, you know, I can just pop out, you know, my front porch and just sell whatever. I can literally sell key lime pie slices, okay? So, so that's what I would do. You know what I mean? So, as simple as that. Because, of course, I've thought about that. You know, I've thought about multiple things. It's not even about the internet shutting down. I mean, they could shut me down, you know. Again, you know, if you, they've shut me down before. This is why I have this channel. I used to have another channel where I used to talk a lot of, you know, truth, you know, whatever. And so they shut that down. They shut that down as soon as the pandemic started, all right? I'll leave it there. But long story short, what was I going to say? Yeah, so that's why I started this channel that you're watching this on, and I've done other things. So, I mean, yeah, you never know. I'm always thinking about things like that, and I plan ahead. So I'm not worried about it. You know, obviously, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. But if this gets taken away from me, I got so many other things that I can fall back on. You know, it's not just cooking. So, Austin is asked. You know, sorry, Austin. I know you asked me the question. He goes, what is my favorite rock band? AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, someone else. You have a great band. Honestly, my favorite band is Nirvana. You know, but I'm a 90s kid, okay? So Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Alice in Chains, you know, Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails, you know, all that stuff. But again, I'm an old school, old fart. I love the classic rock, all right? Which is, you know, again, I love AC/DC. I love Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, you know, all these things. So, yeah, I mean, I love them all. It just depends on the mood, depends on this, depends on that. You know, again, I love listening to some Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So, Edge Diamond says, you have so much talent and we appreciate you more than you could ever. Thank you, Linda and Eric. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And again, you know, it's funny you say I have a lot of talent. To me, it's just that I've tried a lot of things. I've failed at a lot of things, but you know, I've succeeded at a lot of things. So, but I mean, I don't think I'm that talented at all, to tell you the truth, you know? So, I really appreciate it when you guys, share your kind words with me. So, but I think that's it, guys. And I think we had a fun time today, enjoying our chat, enjoying our live stream, just hanging out here today, talking about retirement, easy living, easy life. I'm about to end this here. We're going to move on to my other channel where we're going to be talking about, you should go hang out over there, okay? These are things that I'm very passionate about. Not necessarily Bitcoin, but I am passionate about cryptocurrency. I'm passionate about gold and silver. I'm passionate about sovereignty, being your own bank, okay? Being free, okay? So all these things you got to, work for. You got to earn. It's not like, I'm just going to be free. No, listen. Freedom comes at a cost that most are not willing to pay. All right? So that's as simple as that. So yeah, if you want to lose a lot of money, definitely invest in something like XRP. So yeah, man, 100%. So, but anyways, we're going to continue the conversation over there. All right. So I already love you guys. I really, really love you guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today and hanging out with me today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful year, are having a wonderful summer. And I appreciate you guys. And I wish, you guys were all here with me. Oh, wait, you are here with me, because of today's, world that we're living in with all this technology. We're all here together. We're here every Thursday and we're here every Sunday. I'm finishing up the video for Sunday right now. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Sometimes I make a video and I'm thinking, man, this is a sucky video. This is not going to be good. And then you guys love it. And then sometimes I'm making a video that I'm really happy and passionate about and you guys hate it. So I really don't know. This video that I'm making is a video that I'm kind of like iffy about. So I'm guessing that you guys will love it. So please stay tuned this Sunday on my channel. As you guys know, every single Sunday I drop a video. Every single Thursday we go live. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys over there in a few minutes, okay? So about 30 minutes, okay? I'm going to be a few minutes late, but I'll see you guys over there. Again, did I give you guys the link? Here, I'll give you guys the link again. And I hope to see you guys there real soon. Love you guys. Peace out. Thanks again for hanging out and watching today. And I'll see you guys on the next one. You already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Love you guys. And I'll see you guys over there and on the next one. Bye, guys.